Hello everybody. So the other day I posted a concealed carry tips and tricks video, and it involved clothing options, your draw stroke and things like that. Today we're going to talk about different carry positions. I had a conversation with somebody today that wants to know a little bit more about firearms, and I thought, you know, I should do this video. Now, I know there's been a surge of the big channels suddenly paying attention to the little guys, to the new shooters and things like that, because there's been so many gun purchases because of this COVID-19 scare. But I'm just going to do what I normally do and work with the new shooter and try to get you on the best track as I possibly can. I've always, if you know my channel, I've always worked with the new shooter. I've always tried to answer as many questions as possible from the new shooter and help the new shooter, because that's really the backbone of the Second Amendment community, the gun culture, whatever you want to call it. That's really the backbone, are the people, new people coming in. So let's talk about carry positions. I am dressed in something that I would normally wear, an overshirt, undershirt. Sometimes I don't have an undershirt, but an overshirt, pair of pants, and my core gun belt. I am currently carrying an appendix position with the G44, and of course I am unloaded. The holster that I'm using for this demonstration is Harry's holsters. I don't remember what this holster is called actually. I got it a long time ago from Harry's Holsters, and it's just a fantastic holster. So let's go. We're going to start back at appendix carry, which is your carry position, whether you're left or right-handed, anywhere from basically your hip bones in. This 1 o'clock, think about the time, you know, the hands of the clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So really this like 1:30 to 10:30 position, anywhere in here, is appendix carry. And for a good reason, where it's located. What is the advantages to appendix carry? Now, appendix carry is probably in the closest proximity to where your hands normally are. So if you need to get to your firearm quickly, it's just a matter of it being right there. There is no reaching around or, you know, contorting yourself or anything like that. It is in the nearest proximity to where your hands normally are, which is sort of up here in front of your body if you're just standing at a rest. Now, the advantage of that is, of course, a quick draw. I'm not saying that the other positions aren't fast draws as well, but appendix carry tends to be a bit faster for people that are equally as good with both. Now, another plus is, depending on your body type, appendix can be the most concealable as well. There is one other position that I think, again, depending on body type, that is equally as concealable, and that is right around here to about the 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock position. We'll get into that later. But appendix tends to be, because shirts hang off your body straight, especially if you're dressed as if you're carrying and not dressed in a 2 sizes too small shirt. If you're going to dress as if you're carrying, your shirts tend to hang straight off of you, helping to conceal the firearm. Now, what is the disadvantages to appendix carry? It tends to be uncomfortable. I don't care what anybody else on the internet says, it tends to be uncomfortable, especially if you're going to sit down a lot. Some people, it doesn't bother. Depending on the gun size, it may change. But if you talk to most people that have tried appendix carry, they're going to tell you that they don't do it. You know, I should say, if you talk to most people who don't do it anymore, they're going to say they just couldn't, it just wasn't comfortable. That in bending over, squatting, sitting, driving, things like that, it just dug into them too much. And it happens. Appendix carry is not for everyone. And no, contrary to the belief of some people online, there is not a wonder holster that fixes that problem. Now, for me, I'll appendix carry if I am going to be walking around a lot. If I am going to be in someplace like Las Vegas where I'm on my feet all day long and I'm only sitting down to eat, I will appendix carry. If I'm driving, if I'm sitting, if I'm Very active, it will be a 3 o'clock carry position. Now that brings us to the 3 o'clock carry position. Of course it would be 9 o'clock if you were a lefty, but let's switch this over. I can do this with the same holster, and I will put this in my waistband to the 3 o'clock carry position. It's right here, right? If anybody is wondering why I'm doing this with my G44 instead of my normal carry gun, it's because it doesn't have a light on it, and most new shooters aren't putting lights and gadgets on their guns yet. So I have a holster that I'm able to do this whole thing with, as well as this gun. So that is why I am currently using the 44 instead of my 19 or 19X. So this can be a far more comfortable carry position. This hip carry, anywhere from that 2 o'clock area, that 1:30, 2 o'clock, you know, where appendix ends, all the way around to 3:30. This whole area here, and of course, again, that's the opposite side for your lefties. This can be a very comfortable place to carry because it does not interfere when you bend over, when you sit down, when you're walking, or anything like that. It is concealable, again, depending on body type, size of your gun, things like that, which is for every carry position, of course. Now, comfort, mobility, and some concealability is the positives of your 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3:30 carry positions. Now, negatives of this, it is a bit harder to draw if you are carrying inside the waistband. Somebody like me who normally carries outside the waistband with my overshirt over the gun, it's not as hard to draw, but you end up kind of reaching over a little bit, grabbing just like you would for appendix, but reaching over a little bit farther to get your gun up and draw. Now, some will say I use one hand. That's fine, especially if you are fighting off an attacker. If you are fending off an attacker and you're able to draw like this, get your hand out of the way and fire, that's excellent. That's excellent. And that is another advantage to the hip carry, is that you have the ability to blade to fight off an attacker and simultaneously get your gun. So now I'm carrying it like the 3:30, 4 o'clock position right here. I personally don't like it. It is comfortable. You have a lot of padding here. Most people have a little bit extra here and here. Don't worry, nothing to be ashamed of. But most people have a little bit extra padding right here, so it is very comfortable. You don't even notice it's there, depending on the holster and of course all that stuff. We'll get into holster options in another video. How to choose a holster and all that. Advantages: comfortable, very comfortable to carry in this position. Concealable, depending on what kind of clothing you're wearing, of course. It's very concealable until you bend over, and then it's sticking out like another appendage. But it is concealable, especially standing up. What I don't like about it is it's hard to get to. Depending on what clothes you're wearing, almost any clothes really, you can't use this hand to grab your clothing because you trap, right? You trap your gun. So you're stuck doing this, which is fine, especially if you're fending off that attacker. But I don't like reaching behind me at all in order to get my firearm. I just don't like it. I also don't like it because I can't look at when I'm putting my gun back. And I know that may not sound important to some, but that's when a lot of the negligent discharges happen, is when you are reholstering your gun and you get the tail of your shirt or some drawstring or something stupid stuck in there, and when you holster, bang, because you got that stuck in the trigger guard. Always, always look at when you are reholstering your gun. So the inability to watch while I'm reholstering, I don't like. I don't like the fact that I have to put myself in an awkward bent position to get to it, and I don't like that it is only concealable really if you're standing straight up. Other than that, it's about as comfortable as it gets. Now, That leaves us with small of the back carry. I do not have a holster for small of the back carry because I would never, ever, 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 ever suggest somebody small of the back carry. And why is that? Number one, you're putting your arm in an awkward mechanical position to get the gun. It's never a good idea when you have to force your body to do something to draw your weapon of self-defense. This is a bad place to be. My joints are locked up. I'm stressing my shoulder. I'm stressing my elbow. Maybe not everybody's like that, but a lot of people will be, just to reach my gun. Number two, most fights, the bulk of fights, go to the ground. The bulk of two dude fights, like a bar fight, go to the ground. The bulk of women fights, if you've ever watched YouTube, go to the ground. And 100% of rapes go to the ground. Now, what does all this have in common? That you are now laying on your gun. You are now laying on your gun when you need it the most. Therefore, I would never, ever, ever suggest anybody carry small in the back. And I know what you're saying. I do it all the time. Great, good for you. If it's a secondary piece, if it's a backup piece, I absolutely would give concession to that, but not your primary. So don't get all butthurt. I'm not here to melt your snowflakes because I said something bad about, said something negative about your choice of carrying. That's just the facts of the matter, is that small in the back is got to be the worst place to carry a firearm, especially your primary defense. So the way I am currently carrying right now is actually my preferred daily carry method, and it is right here at around 230 with an outside the waistband holster. This is a Bravo concealment holster, light bearing holster, and my normal carry gun, which is a Glock 19 with TLR1 HL, Vortex Venom, Swenson slide. It's got a couple things done to it, but this is what I'm carrying right now, and this is how I would normally carry it. It's the most comfortable for me, for my body type, is to carry outside the waistband. I don't have to go up in jean size. Generally I don't have to go up in belt size. All I do is throw a overshirt on in order to conceal it. Now, your overshirt does not have to be buttoned. Some people were concerned last time when I was talking about, in the concealed carry tips and tricks, they were talking about heat, getting overheated with overshirts on. Number one, they don't have to be long sleeve, of course, but if you have it open, you can still cool off. You have a better breeze, and I am still concealing. And this is the absolute easiest way to get a garment out of the way, is to just flip it backwards and draw your pistol. Most overshirts are weighted enough to be able to just very easily draw it. So yes, this is my favorite way to carry. My favorite, I have worn Bravo concealment holsters for a very long time. This is not an advertisement for them, but I've worn Bravo concealment holsters for a very long time. I've carried outside the waistband for a very long time, and it has just worked out very well for me in both real life and in class environments. So that's all I got for you today about concealed carry positions. Do want to mention real quick that there is, of course, this style of appendix carry as well, with the +1 mag, the side caddy, the sidecar, the whatever you want to call it. This one happens to be from Spider Concealment. When I appendix carry this particular pistol, this is what I wear. And it is equally uncomfortable for me, but I do like it when I'm walking around. So other than appendix carry, of course, you have your hip area, 230 to 330, then that 430 area back here. And stay away, please stay away from small and back carry. That's all I got for you. We'll talk to you later.